All right, the moment I've been waiting for. Pretty sure nobody else has been waiting for. It's the moment I've been waiting for. This movie review is about Corpus Christi. It is a Polish film. I thought it was Russian. Tells you how much I know about languages. Um, so I'm going to try and not give any spoilers for this particular review because um damn, I'll have to go back and look at all my reviews, but this is the best movie I've seen this year. Birds of Prey previously had the title. It went Birds of Prey, um, Beanpole, but since watching this, it's Corpus Christi, Birds of Prey, Beanpole. Out of the movies that I've seen so far, it says a lot about the American film industry that two of the best movies I've seen so far are foreign films. One being Russian and this one being Polish. Well, last year, Korean film took the Oscars by storm, if I'm not mistaken. Um, what was the name of it? I forgot the name of that damn movie. Parasite. Oh, that's funny. The movie that took the Oscars by storm last year was named Parasite. And look what the world's going through right now. Not necessarily a parasite, but an infectious disease, nonetheless. But anyway, um, so try my best not to ruin this movie. So it follows a troubled youth. Um, I guess on his path for forgiveness in a way. I know the character's looking for forgiveness. Or he feels remorse for what he did. You don't find out what he did till well into the movie, which oh god, which I think is so great. First and foremost, the setting is foreign to me, and oddly enough, this movie was I was able to overcome the disconnect I usually feel towards movies with a foreign language. For some reason, I just have to give it to the actors themselves. I feel like even though the older characters were a little polished in their acting, the the younger actors in this film and actresses in this film are actually what took the show, and thankfully the thankfully they were the main actors. Now they're not necessarily super young. When I was looking up their names, I'm not even going to try and say them. It's just not going to happen. Um, when I was looking up their names, of course their ages by their names, and yeah, they're in like late 20s, early 30s. They're around the same age as me actually. But man, the performances they put in this movie are they're over the top. They're really good. It doesn't necessarily deal with anything too rough. So like I said, it follows a troubled youth. He's in juvenile hall, but he finds, I guess if you can call it, he finds peace uh, through Christianity, which I don't see anything wrong with that. Hence the name Corpus Christi. When I googled that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds familiar. When I googled it, it was like it's a celebration. Uh, it's a feast that happens in the Catholic religion, something to do with the bread and wine, so the body and the blood of Christ. I went to a Catholic school, so I remember some of it. Um, so anyway, so I'm not gonna say what I said 3 times again. So as he's going through the detention center, of course he has some trouble with somebody in there. You find out why he has trouble with this person later on. But anyway, it wasn't. So I guess this is where the disconnect comes in because I wasn't exactly able to follow the film that well. Not saying I didn't understand what was going on, just a little bit, just a little bit. I don't understand why. What were the circumstances behind him getting out? I thought he was released. or but I think he was just out on like a work release program, something like that. Something like that. You get to get out and work in the community, but you're still technically serving doing time basically. Um, but he takes up this opportunity to exploit his position in the chapel that's attached to uh, the juvenile uh, the juvenile detention center. Um, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say. I don't say. I don't want to say what he does because it makes the movie. It makes the movie so much more interesting and layered. Like I've said so many times, that's what makes me and that's what brings me so much joy from a movie is the fact of how layered it is, how layered the characters are. The setting wasn't overly complex, but I think it was just the fact that it was foreign to me, which makes it so interesting. Um, so he decides to take advantage of that, and he winds up. I'm just gonna say he winds up impersonating a priest, but obviously he doesn't. He looks way younger than what a priest should be, because there's certain a priest has to go to school and basically, I guess it would be considered like a vocational school. He has to go to a vocational school basically, and then he can officially become a priest, and then he could go out and start working as such. But of course, he skips a few of those steps and pretends to be one, and lo and behold, the city that he's in needs a priest to stand in. So he fills that position, and in doing so, he comes across like a tragic event, I guess, that happened in the town. There was a drunk driver who ran into a carload of kids. It's a small village, so there's a lot of uh, two lane roads. So one going this direction, another one coming that one. I drove across many of those in this country. Um, they're a little dicey, especially at night. And then you throw drugs and alcohol into the mix, which you find out later, and so a lot of people wind up dying. And it's like I said, it's a small community, so everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows what everybody does. In any case, um, the town they have a they have a I think they have a normal human response to it. They have to find somebody to displace all their unwanted anger on. So they put it all on the widow of the woman. They put it all on the widow of the man who killed the carload of kids. But you find out later on things start unfolding. But anyway, the fact that he's an outsider, it's he's able to give a fresh set of eyes or a fresh point of view to the situation, and he's able to kind of break down. Um, he's able to like kind of soften some of the stubbornness of the town folk, basically, get them to open up and see that you shouldn't be acting in the manner in which you're acting. But the whole time he's not who he says he is. So I don't think that's ever made clear to them, the town folk, what exactly he was, because his exit is pretty classic actually. I mean, I guess they figure out like, oh, okay, he's not what he says he is. Um, there's touching moments. I don't know why I said touching. There's good moments that happen between him and some of the kids that are around the same age as him, or some of the characters that are supposed to be around the same age as him. There's good moments between them. There's good moments between him and the priest. There's a little bit of tension between people. It shows a little bit of classism, a little bit of and a little bit of there's no really, and I guess, well, class is social, like where you stand at bank account wise comes into play, and how much power that can give a person. That definitely is on the forefront, but it's not a major a major thing. Um, I have to say it really is my favorite movie so far this year. Hope I didn't give too much away. Um, so yeah, but then it kind of like knocks you back in your seat once all the details have been unfolded in front of you, and you're kind of able to uh, make make your own mind up about the characters and what events that took place. He gets found out and he gets sent back to the detention center, and now he has to face that bully again. And that's the part that really makes you sit back down in your seat, because part of me was ready to go. Part of me was like, "Oh, that's the end of the movie. That's bad." I didn't really want to see it end like that. But then the filmmaking part comes out, because for a large majority of the movie, it's telling a story, and it's telling it pretty pretty eloquently. I can't say the word. Pretty eloquent. Is that the word? That's the way you say the word. Whatever. It's telling it as proper and nice, as posh as it possibly can. And then the last sequence when he comes back, throws it all out the window, and it turns into this grungy, uh, dank basement type, dark emotion filled, chaotic scene, and it's like it gives you closure. At least it gave me closure. Now it's definitely worth a watch if you can find it in whoever's watching this. If you can find it in a city near you, it's worth a watch. There's subtitles. They're speaking. Said they were speaking Polish and French. I didn't hear too much French. I don't speak French, but I didn't hear too much French. Maybe there was some French in there. I definitely didn't know it was Polish. I'm not gonna say. Well, I thought they were speaking Russian. It kind of sounded like Russian. I'm sorry. I don't know too many things about language, but best movie this year so far, Corpus Christi.